everyone, Pam Gregory. I'm here to speak to you about the first half of January 2018 and some of the major trends that we're going to see in 2018 too. But it's very interesting. In January we're actually going to have 3 lunations, 2 of which are full supermoons, and I'm going to be talking about one of those today, which is happening right at the beginning of the year. But just as a backdrop, I want to talk about a couple of the planets that are changing signs at this time. I mentioned in the last video that Saturn is moving into its own sign of Capricorn right at the winter solstice in 2017. And also in May 2018, we have Uranus moving into Taurus. Now, it usually spends about 7 years in each sign, but it's actually going to be in and out of Aries as well, late Aries through 2018, and won't move fully into Taurus until March 2019. But we're already feeling the effects of what that symbolism is about now. So in 2018, there's a preponderance of the outer planets being in Earth and water. Earth because Saturn is in Capricorn, Pluto's in Capricorn too, Uranus is moving into Taurus, and we have Neptune and Chiron, certainly in the early part of the year, still in Pisces, and Jupiter in Scorpio. So it's an Earth-water mix. That strongly suggests that we are going to have a lot of concern for the Earth, our ecology, the environment. That's going to be a very strong message, an increasingly strong message, as we go through 2018. Because, for instance, one of the messages of Uranus moving into Taurus could be extreme weather events. Taurus rules the Earth, and Uranus is a very sudden, eruptive, unpredictable energy, so that could bring about extremes in floods, droughts, volcanoes, earthquakes, very sudden and unexpected and extreme events. So we must be very aware of that. But with those happenings, again, we will become more aware of what we need to do to protect our Earth. Just staying with Uranus in Taurus for a little longer, it's going to have other effects as well. Taurus is to do with agriculture and our natural resources and our food distribution, for instance. So there could be some real revolutions there. We're seeing some wonderful ideas with organic food being grown hydroponically in vertical shelving in warehouses with different coloured lights to deliver optimum plant growth for the different species. We're seeing organic gardens growing on the top of buildings and hospitals. We're seeing people sacrificing their front lawns to turn them into organic gardens. So there's a great deal of ingenuity and innovation around food production. Equally, this symbolism could suggest that we're going to have more food engineering, because Uranus is to do with technology in producing our food. So I think it will go both ways. I think there will be a polarisation, and we could even see some disruptions, again Uranus, perhaps due to extreme weather events or unexpected happenings that disrupt the food supply for a few days. So I would just say to people, just get a few basic supplies in to cover you for a few days. If that is to occur, you'll be very grateful that you did. Uranus in Taurus will have other effects as well. Now, Uranus being about technology, Taurus is also about the body, the physical body. We are going to see over these next few years, up till 2026, a blurring of technology and the human body. And what I mean by that is we already have some medical devices that are microchips that fit under the skin to help people with health conditions monitor their glucose or their insulin levels. So they can have medical benefits, but other companies are now starting to microchip their employees, because the microchip will then open the doors, open the computer, open the coffee machine, etc. So with this blurring of technology and the human, I would just suggest that you think very carefully before you take those steps. I mean, it does have medical benefits, but I think it could have some significant downsides too. So I write much more about all of these subjects in my monthly newsletter. You can subscribe to that on my website, and I go into much more detail on all of these subjects. The other thing that Uranus in Taurus is likely to bring about is volatility in financial markets, stock markets, because Taurus is to do with wealth, finance, money. We're going to see volatility in currencies as well. We're going to see many cryptocurrencies coming to the fore, and again, volatility there. And I don't presume to advise anyone on that, but generally we're going to have a lot of not only volatility, but a real revolution in our finance and banking systems, and increasingly move towards a cashless society where everything is electrified and digitized. That's the effect of Uranus in Taurus. Let's take Saturn in Capricorn now, one of the other big planets that has just moved into Capricorn on the winter solstice 2017. Now, that is its own sign because Saturn rules Capricorn, and there's really a feeling with this that it's a reality check. Saturn has been in Sagittarius for almost the last 3 years, and that Sagittarius is doing everything in a big way. It's excess, it's too much of. So we had quantitative easing, for instance. There was a sense of exuberance, printing money. We also had huge waves of refugees coming from war-torn countries. Remember, Sagittarius is connected to foreigners, people of different religions, and there were massive waves of people entering Europe, really before Europe was fully prepared to know how to handle this desperate situation. Now with Saturn moving into Capricorn, it's much more of a feeling of rules and regulations. Countries protecting their own borders. We're seeing this very clearly in America. We're seeing it very clearly in the UK with Brexit, putting up our borders, redefining who we are as a country. Very Saturn in Capricorn, that symbolism. And the rest of the EU is talking about becoming a tighter federal Europe. So we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see a lot of new rules and regulations around things like immigration, and also restructuring of governments and organisations and financial companies in general. So this sense of reality check and being more conservative, being less extravagant and exuberant perhaps in ways that we have in the recent past. So those are the two big outer changes we're seeing. I think what will also, and I'm going back to issues of ecology and environment now, we'll become more and more aware of what needs to be done, not only because of extreme weather events, but because we're becoming very aware, for instance, of the pollution and plastics in our seas. Neptune is in Pisces, its own sign. Neptune is connected to plastics, toxicity, pollution, seas, fish, everything to do with the marine environment. And it makes us very aware of what has to be done, and we're seeing some amazing innovations coming in. This is part of Uranus in Taurus, helping to clean up the earth. Jupiter in Scorpio is also about recycling. And we're going to see some really amazing developments, I think, often by young people. That's Uranus inventing these things, and we're going to see a lot of attention being given to that area. The other benefit of Saturn in Capricorn is that it usually demands great integrity and accountability by our leaders. This is helped by Jupiter in Scorpio. I've been talking recently how we anticipated that Jupiter moving into Scorpio, where it'll stay till next November 2018, will reveal secrets of the rich, the powerful, the famous, and exactly as Jupiter moved into Scorpio, we started to see some very big scandals in Hollywood. We've even seen it remarkably in the British Parliament. And we've seen revelations of things like the Paradise Papers too. Now this is going to, these secrets being revealed are going to continue through till November 2018. And I think particularly around January, we have 2 full supermoons. Full moons are oftentimes when things are revealed. We're going to see more and more secrets coming to the fore. So hopefully that will encourage more transparent and accountable leadership in various countries across the world. The big full supermoon is happening for us on the 1st of January, right at the beginning of the month. It's happening at 6:24 p.m. Pacific, and it's happening at 2:24 a.m. UK time the next day on the 2nd. And it's happening at 11 degrees 37 minutes of Cancer. So see where 11:37 of Cancer falls in your chart, because as always a full moon is about bringing things to completion, culmination, to closure. It can reveal secrets too. So as I've just mentioned, we can see some big things coming to the fore at this time. And supermoons have a much stronger pull on our psyches as well. And this is going to be a particularly psychic full moon. The reason for that is that the moon is in its own sign of Cancer, and it's forming a grand water trine, an equilateral triangle from the moon at 11 of Cancer to Neptune at 11 of Pisces, and they are both trine to Mars and Jupiter at 14 and 17 of Scorpio, respectively. So this is a beautiful, imaginative, creative, intuitive, psychic full moon. A wonderful time. I mean, supermoons in general, sensitive people can get downloads of information, but this one particularly has an exquisite creativity and sensitivity. So I'd strongly encourage you to meditate at this time. The moon will be very big. It's very close to the earth as a supermoon. And also think about your creativity at that time. So that's going to be one big theme, this sensitivity, this psychic side of the full supermoon. However, there's a very different energy that comes with it too, because we have 8 planets in cardinal signs. We have the Sun, Venus, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. We have Uranus and Eris in Aries. We have the moon in Cancer, and we have Haumea, the dwarf planet, in Libra. Now, Capricorn is about taking action. So you may well be encouraged to take action around issues of emotional security, that's Cancer, where our moon is, or practical security. That's where many of these planets are. We have 4 planets, as I've just mentioned, in Capricorn. So there may be this feeling of wanting to kind of hunker down and pull back to what's safe and secure and homey, and being with our family and our loved ones, and staying small, if you like, staying small in that sense. However, the third theme of energy is very different again. And this is where our square between Uranus and Pluto, which was running for several years, exactly between 2012 and 2015, and it's still been on and off since that. It's now coming back into a slightly tighter square. It's only 5 degrees apart because Uranus is at 24 of Aries and Capricorn is at 19 of, Pluto's at 19 of Capricorn, so only 5 degrees apart. So this is a revolutionary energy. And in addition to that, it's people rising up against any suppression or government control, because I think I mentioned in the last video, Saturn in Capricorn and Jupiter in Scorpio, those are both signs that are most concerned with control. So we may see more social control coming in. We're hearing discussions about the internet, the freedom of the internet at the moment. So there is going to be a reaction against that, because Uranus is connected with freedom. And what adds to this revolutionary feel is that Uranus, which has been moving incredibly slowly, becomes stationary direct on the 2nd of January. So a few days to either side of the 2nd of January, we're going to feel that magnified symbolism of eruption, revolution, independence, freedom. We're going to feel that very strongly. So people are going to want to resist any feeling of extra control or government suppression in any way. So watch for that in those early days of January. It's also calling on us, Uranus, at that stationary position, not to hunker down and play safe and be cosy and homey, but rather to be courageous, to be brave, to step out, to have high superconscious awareness. Uranus is connected to that too, to make some radical, brave decisions at this time as well. So be very aware of these three very different sets of energy: the psychic sensitivity, the action-oriented cardinality, and the revolutionary feeling with Uranus. And from the 2nd of January, all of the planets are then going to be moving direct until the 9th of March, when Jupiter moves retrograde. So this is a great time to move forwards with any kind of project that you're working on at the moment, because the planets are all moving in a supportive direction for you. Just want to mention something else that I think is very important as well. In an age where there may be more rules and regulations, etc., our freedom really comes from how we create our reality. And this is something I feel very passionately. You may be aware that recently I've launched a new book, How to Co-Create Using the Secret Language of the Universe. And it's a bestseller. It's doing very well. But in there I describe really very precisely how the quantum theory of creating your reality works, how you then take your own unique birth chart, which you can download from my website, and work with the book and your own birth chart with a worksheet, and given very detailed information for your own unique nodal axis in your birth chart in terms of creating your own reality based on your own cosmic map. And our freedom comes in doing that. Our freedom comes with working with what is almost like our DNA. It's our astrological DNA made for us. It's the divine intention of the universe for us as individuals. Working with that in a practical way, but also working with it to elevate your consciousness. Astrology is a very good modality to help you elevate your consciousness, because in elevating it, we are then in a much stronger position to create, and that's where our freedom comes, wherever we're living in the world, to create our own reality. And it isn't just for us. We can create a better reality for the world because we can act collectively. And this is where the strength of social media comes in as well. So it's a fascinating time. I think 2018 will be an incredibly powerful year. Many of us are going to become spiritual warriors for the Earth, because we have the dwarf planet Haumea, about the regeneration and protection of the Earth, still in a very tight opposition to Aries, the spiritual warrior. So we're going to be fighting for our Earth to make it an even more wonderful, healthier place than it already is. So I'd just like to thank you for all your support through 2017. You've been amazing. I wouldn't be doing this without you. And also just to say, if you don't know where these aspects fall in your chart, just do check out this link appearing above. That will take you to my store. You can buy a 2-part video series which will explain, together with your birth chart that you can download from my website for free, exactly what this means for you in your life, and you can refer back to those videos with every update I ever do. I've also got a very detailed newsletter of up to 6,000 words every month that goes into much more detail than I can do here. And also just to say, if you want to treat yourself going into the new year, as well as my new book, How to Co-Create, it's also my revised book, You Don't Really Believe in Astrology, Do You? And they are both getting really wonderful 5-star reviews on Amazon, so I have to thank you for that too. Don't forget, just one other thing I want to mention as we move into 2018 with this, two other things I want to mention actually, with this full supermoon in Cancer. With this lineup in Cancer, in Capricorn, 4 planets in Capricorn, this is going to give us a taster of what may be appearing for us in 2020. There's a very important conjunction between Saturn and Pluto at 22 degrees of Capricorn in January 2020. This full supermoon can well give us a taste of what that's going to be about. The other thing at this full supermoon is the North Node, our collective destiny, is conjunct Ceres, the asteroid, the goddess of the earth and the goddess of agriculture. So that really emphasizes the message I've been giving in this, that our collective destiny is to protect the earth for the benefit of all its natural abundance. So a good thought to end on, I think. Have a wonderful festive season and a spectacular 2018, creating your own reality. May you manifest your dreams. Thank you and God bless.